90% of people who read self-help books never apply a single lesson from them. They finish the book, feel inspired for about 3 days, and then return to exactly the same habits they had before. But one book has consistently broken that pattern for over 3 decades, selling more than 40 million copies worldwide and fundamentally changing how businesses, governments, and individuals think about personal effectiveness. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover the 7 core habits that Stephen Covey argued separate truly effective people from everyone else. We will cover the foundational philosophy behind the book, walk through each habit in real depth, and reveal the one insight most people completely miss when they read this book, an insight that actually makes all 7 habits work together in a way that most summaries never explain properly. Stay with us, because this one changes how you see everything. Stephen Covey published The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People in 1989, but the ideas inside it did not come from thin air. Covey spent years studying 200 years of American success literature, and what he discovered was deeply unsettling. He found that for the first 150 years, that literature focused on what he called the character ethic, values like integrity, humility, courage, and patience. But starting around the 1920s, something shifted. Success literature began focusing almost entirely on what Covey called the personality ethic, techniques, social strategies, positive mental attitude, and image management. Covey argued this shift was a disaster. You cannot build lasting effectiveness on techniques alone. Techniques without character are like decorating a house built on a cracked foundation. Eventually, everything collapses. This is the lens through which all 7 habits must be understood. Covey was not offering life hacks. He was offering a complete paradigm shift about who you are, not just what you do. The first habit is be proactive. This sounds simple. Everyone thinks they understand it. But Covey's definition goes far deeper than just taking initiative. He described a concept called the circle of concern versus the circle of influence. Your circle of concern contains everything you worry about: the economy, other people's behavior, the news, the weather. Your circle of influence contains only the things you can actually affect. Reactive people spend most of their energy in the circle of concern. They focus on things they cannot change and feel increasingly powerless. Proactive people put almost all of their energy inside their circle of influence. And here is the extraordinary result: when you consistently act within your circle of influence, that circle actually grows. Your capacity to affect the world around you expands because you are building credibility, skills, and trust through consistent action. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. Covey used a striking thought experiment here. He asked readers to imagine attending a funeral, their own funeral, and to think about what they would want people to say about them. Not what people would actually say, but what they would want them to say. This exercise is designed to force clarity about your deepest values. Covey believed that most people spend their entire lives climbing a ladder of success, only to discover at the top that the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. Having a personal mission statement, something most people never write, gives you a compass rather than just a clock. The third habit is put first things first. This is where Covey introduced his famous time management matrix, dividing all tasks into 4 quadrants based on urgency and importance. Quadrant 1 is urgent and important: crises, deadlines, emergencies. Most people live here. Quadrant 2 is not urgent but important: planning, relationships, personal development, prevention. This is where highly effective people spend most of their time. Quadrant 3 is urgent but not important. Most emails, most meetings, most interruptions. Quadrant 4 is neither urgent nor important: mindless scrolling, time-wasting activities. The insight is counterintuitive. The most important work you will ever do feels like it could wait. That is exactly why most people never do it. But here is what nobody talks about when they discuss these first 3 habits. Covey called them the private victory. Habits 1, 2, and 3 are entirely internal. They are about your relationship with yourself, your discipline, your values, your self-management. And Covey was absolutely clear that you cannot skip this stage. You cannot have healthy, lasting relationships with others if you have not first developed mastery over yourself. The next 3 habits are the public victory, but they only work if the private victory comes first. Habit 4 is think win-win. This is not about being nice. It is about having the courage to seek agreements and solutions that benefit everyone involved, or having the integrity to walk away from deals that do not. Covey identified 6 paradigms of human interaction: win-win, win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, win, and win-win or no deal. Most people default to win-lose without even realizing it because they were raised in competitive environments where someone had to lose for someone else to win. But in interdependent relationships, in business partnerships, marriages, and teams, win-lose thinking always creates long-term loss for both parties. The person who loses develops resentment. And resentment quietly destroys everything. Habit 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Covey called this the single most important principle in interpersonal communication. Most people listen autobiographically, meaning they listen not to understand, but to respond. They filter everything through their own experience and are mentally preparing their reply before the other person has even finished speaking. Covey argued that if you genuinely seek to understand another person first, not just their words, but their meaning and their feelings, you build what he called an emotional bank account with them. Every act of real understanding is a deposit. Every dismissal, interruption, or assumption is a withdrawal. High-trust relationships have large balances. Low-trust relationships are always overdrawn. Habit 6 is synergize. This is perhaps the most underestimated of the 7 habits. Synergy means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Covey argued that when two people with genuinely different perspectives learn to value their differences rather than tolerate them, they can create solutions that neither person could have reached alone. This is not compromise. Compromise means 1 + 1 = 1.5, both people give something up. Synergy means 1 + 1 can equal 8, or 16, or 100, because you are creating something entirely new. Most teams never experience this because they are too busy defending their own positions to explore what becomes possible when they genuinely combine their thinking. Habit 7 is sharpen the saw. This is the habit that sustains all the others. Covey used the metaphor of a woodcutter who is so busy sawing that he never stops to sharpen his blade, even as the cutting gets slower and harder. Sharpening the saw means continuous renewal across 4 dimensions: physical, social and emotional, mental, and spiritual. Not spiritual in a religious sense necessarily, but in the sense of clarifying and deepening your connection to your core values and purpose. Without regular renewal in all 4 dimensions, effectiveness deteriorates. People burn out, relationships decay, and even strong values begin to erode under pressure. Now here is the real-world implication of all of this. Companies that have applied these frameworks consistently, and there are hundreds, including major Fortune 500 organizations that have put their entire leadership teams through Covey training, report measurable improvements in collaboration, employee retention, and strategic clarity. But individual results depend almost entirely on whether people start with the private victory or try to shortcut directly to the public victory habits. Skipping to habit 4 without habits 1 through 3 is like trying to build relationships on a foundation of unresolved personal chaos. It does not hold. The deeper lesson of this book is something Covey stated plainly but which most readers skim past. He said that between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom to choose. And in that choice lies your growth and your happiness. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Book Notes Daily for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.